Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. My mother's drug addiction and how it has affected our relationship. A little context. My father has not been in my life for 10 years. My parents have been separated for 15 plus years and my mom remarried. It came out a few years ago that my stepdad has been using/selling meth for the entirety of my mother and his relationship. My mom chose to forgive him and stay with him afterwards. Supposedly, he has been clean since he was caught but still has addictive tendencies, lying, manipulating, etc. Flash forward to October last year, I, 25, got engaged to my fiancé, 27. My fiancé, then BF, took my mother to lunch prior to asking me and asked for permission. She was so excited and even helped plan the engagement. On the first day of the year this year, my mom came over to tell me how terrible of a person my fiancé is, how we are both alcoholics/drug addicts, and how he is just manipulating me. These are completely outlandish claims and untrue, but obviously there is some projection happening on her end. Anyway, I was completely blindsided and never expected this. I had to force her to leave my house and a few days later set up a meeting at a third party's house with the third party to moderate as I had no idea what to expect. Essentially it went exactly as the first conversation went. I couldn't get a word in and she continued to say awful things. So I left. As of today, we are no contact. She kicked me off her phone plan so I had to get a new phone/number. She doesn't let me contact my sister, 13, still living at home. As of now, she won't be invited to our wedding, early 2024. It can be tough to cope with a person turning into someone you don't even recognize. Especially a parent. But I've been giving myself time to process and accept our new reality. Story 2. Entitled Parent. Tourists yell at me for speaking Dutch, being queer and wearing a t-shirt. Sorry if my English is bad, I'm working on it. Laughing face. Okay, here's just a bit of context. I'm not originally from here and because of that they confused me as an American. I was born in South Africa. I don't live in Amsterdam, not even close, literally a whole province away. And I am not a very confrontational person. Any kind of confrontation makes me nervous and/or upset, which mostly ends in me having a meltdown. I'm not autistic BTW, that's just how I call it. Anyways, let's begin. This happened today. I'm still in disbelief. Now, I, F13, was bored and went to the Action/Pets place to get some food, drinks, and treats for my cat and dogs. After spending some money in the budget at the Action, if you wanna know what I got, it was a Mango Loco Monster, Toblerones and other chocolates, and I was heading to Pet's place to maybe get some treats for my dogs or cat. This is where I noticed that there wasn't a cashier there. They probably were in the staff-only area, not sure, and the about 28 to 34, she had a pretty good skincare routine, and her 3 kids, they looked around 3, 5, and 7. I paid it not mind since I thought they were just exploring other parts of Holland other than Amsterdam or Gouda. I was just pacing around, which I admit was pretty suspicious, especially since the dog aisles and the cat aisles were on the opposite sides of the building, but it was mostly because I didn't know what to get since I only had about €6 in my pocket and most of the dog treats were around €7 or more while the cat treats were €5 max. Anyways, so I was just heading back over the cat aisle when I hear by M with her spawn in tow calling me from across the store. M, heavy southern accent, yeehaw partner, excuse me. You there with the black and yellow shirt? I was wearing a Sabaton tee, the Great War if you wanna know. I just love Sabaton, okay? XD. Me, clueless, we. T, who? M, hillbilly mating call, you. Brown-haired girl with the ugly t-shirt. Me, week. Me at op weezit jij te gillen. T, who me? Girl, who are you yelling at? M, still shrieking, speak English, you are in an English country. What was she smoking? I really want some of that/J. Holland is a Dutch country, the people just know English since they teach it here. Me, slight South African accent, "Mkay, what do you want?" "I'm just trying to get stuff for my cat since the dog treats are too expensive." I know I sounded kinda rude here, but I honestly don't enjoy when someone is just screaming in my ear. I need you to leave immediately, my kids are freaked out by your pro-war Nazi shirt and your dykey hairstyle. You'll turn them into, whispering, gays, normal volume, and into Nazis. At this point, I'm just dumbfounded. I couldn't tell if she was being serious or not. She literally called me a slur against masculine lesbians. My hair isn't even that short, it's just wavy and airy, which makes it look short. Plus, I did have a lesbian pride pin on my backpack. AKA, I'm a lesbian LOL, and she called me a Nazi because of my shirt. Which, no, the band who literally made the album and many other albums all have something to do with historical figures and war. 10/10ths would recommend, their concerts are bomb, so I just answer my stating this, since I'm already getting kind of annoyed at her and her kids. Her kids didn't do anything yet, I just don't like kids under the age of 8. Me, sorry? Why did you just call me a slur and a Nazi? You do know that's not what this t-shirt is about, right? It's pretty educational. Looks like she's going to implode or something, she's straight up red and the veins in her neck are popping out. Yelling, once again, you have no right to talk to me like that, you bitch. Where are your parents? TBH, I couldn't take her seriously with her southern accent, but I was also horrified for my life because I could tell that she had pepper spray in her front pocket. Me, shaking from laughter and nervousness, "Ma'am. My parents specifically sent me here to get some snacks for me, my brother, them, and my pets. I was already in the action next door, I just have to find some snack for my cat and I'll be on my way." "EK, 5 mommy, I want snack too." Okay sweetie, let me handle this for you." Turns back to me, "What did you get from the action next door? Give it to my precious little son. He's hungry." Me, "Nat, I'm good." I turn away because I am not dealing with that shit any longer. Straight up screaming her lungs out, "Call the ambulance, you little cunt. Come back here. You wouldn't leave a single mother and her starving children alone." Me, physically holding back tears due to her yelling, "This is why I don't like many of you Americans, Jesus Christ." Managare. She insulted me. "You need to call 911 now." Mind you, there wasn't a single cashier in here. He was probably in the storage room. Me, "Didn't you call me a slur and a Nazi for having a pride pin and wearing a t-shirt?" Is too busy with her tirade, so I just resort to the last thing I wanted to do and quickly go over to the cat aisle and pick up my cat's favorite snacks. And after checking if the coast was clear, I went over to a cashier booth to pay for my cat's food. Unfortunately, there wasn't a cashier. So when the manager finally came out from the back, he talked to M first. She was having a temper tantrum about how I didn't share my snacks even though I promised her kids I would. "I'll call the manager, short for manager man." This woman is telling me that you promised her kids food." Me, "Jenny, meneer, dat is juist niet waar. Dat vrouw noemt me geen smet en een Nazi omdat ik kortachtig haar Hebrew en dat ik een band T on Hebrew." Yeah, no, sir, that isn't true. That woman called me a slur and a Nazi because I have shortish hair and I'm wearing a band T. Thinking I'm agreeing with her, she was pretty dense, excatly. "Finally you're telling the truth." Oh, oak. Dank jewel det je het gezegd. Ik zal de CCTV bekijken, ben zo terug. Okay. Thanks for telling me. I'll check the CCTV footage, be right back." Looks at me as if she had won. Comes back and tells the to get out of the store, since she straight up told a minor that they were a Nazi and called them a slur. If she didn't comply, they would call the police. M is furious, yelling things about me and the manager, and that she hopes my cat will die. I get cussing me and the manager out, but what the fuck did my cat do? Due to that, I was pretty shaken up. Rung me up and I paid for my cat's snacks, and I went over to another store to go for another monster, the regulars this time. I'm still baffled that she hoped my cat will die, but don't worry, the M and her spawn got into their rented car and sped off, and my cat is okie dokie. She loves her new snacks 3. Edit, found out that my pride pin is missing, found the back of it in my backpack. It either fell or someone took it. I don't mind, it was a cheap AliExpress one lol, also fixed up the format so that it isn't an eyesore to read anymore. I'm still pretty new to posting, sorry. Story 3. Entitled Parent Getting Laughed at the Petting Zoo. So this just happened today at my work. I work at a petting zoo. There were 2 kids, 8 and 11, who came in and started terrorizing everyone here. They started saying every curse word under the sun to everyone and harassed my animals by running after them and kicking them. One of my colleagues was taking a phone call and the kids decided that she was a good target for some reason. This woman cannot take confrontation. They started walking into her while she was sitting down and screaming in her ears. Eventually she pushed them away and said, "Do you mind? I'm on a phone call." I was not present during this, but my colleague came to me distressed about the kids. I went to them and asked them again politely to leave. I asked them before but they did not leave. That was enough for the kids to stay out by the gate and scream and kick the fences. We told them to stop multiple times politely but to no avail. Eventually they circled around and threw stuff, unknown what it actually was, to my goats and sheeps. They came back around and started bad-mouthing us yet again. Another one of my colleagues went to them and asked them to cool down. The profanity that came out of their mouth just shocked me. How can such young kids have such a vocabulary? I walked a little further away while I saw my colleague going for the hose. I knew what he was gonna do. While I was inside I heard the kids scream. Today was quite a hot day, 30 Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit, so I didn't think it was that bad what he did. The colleague came back with a big smile. I asked him what he did even though I already knew. He said he sprayed them, now they should be cooled down, he chuckled. They went away. Fast forward 20 minutes later and the kids come back, with the mom. She is so mad that she almost slammed the door into the kid's face, almost. I'm already thinking this should be interesting. Can you explain to me why my son came home crying? She yelled. Me and my colleagues look at each other and they just started laughing. Even though I didn't laugh, I also found it quite funny. We explained to the mom what happened and she is not taking it. You pushed my son to the ground, he is only 8. She yelled as she pointed to my female colleague from earlier. She is dumbfounded because she didn't push him to the ground but push him away. She explains it. The mom does not believe her. She demonstrated what she did with a colleague. What happened? That doesn't excuse you for touching my kid, mommy said. My colleagues calmly but with some panicked voice explains that her kids kept walking into her while she was on her phone and screaming into her ears. Still doesn't excuse you, mommy crossed her arms. My colleague stood up and walked away. She focuses her attention to the other colleague. And you? She pointed at him. You destroyed my son's bike while spraying them with water. This colleague does not take BS from anyone and said to her, do you want to know why? There is no excuse, you destroyed his bike. Mom said. This is where I jump in because I have not been present for both those interactions, but no one talks to my colleagues like this. So what is broken? I asked politely. The battery. She huffed. I'm already dumbfounded because a battery can take some water. Does it work? I ask. Yes, but... I interrupted her. So nothing is broken. That's not the point, he shouldn't have sprayed them with water. Mom said. I understand your anger, ma'am, but your boys did ask for this, I said. trying to explain what the boys did in order for them to receive a hose. Mom did not like my reasoning because son dearest can't do anything wrong. I explain that action have consequences. But nope, this action was uncalled for. I tell her that her kids were really rude to me and my staff, not only that but the words they yelled at me and visitors around here were not welcome in here. He would never say that. Our camera will say otherwise. This point she realizes the cameras. So you have proof that one of your colleagues attacked my kid and the other one using brute force, the water spraying, on them. I will get my husband here and he already has a criminal record, so you better watch your tongue. My male colleague talks down on the women. Respect is earned and the way they are behaving they do not get any respect. Is that a threat? I ought to sue you for damage. Me jumping back in, I recall you said nothing broke. Well, if it does I know where to find you, pointing at my colleague. This sounds like a threat and we do not take kindly to threats, my colleague said. Is that a threat? She said. Take that how you will. They go back and forward, not going anywhere and repeating the same stuff over and over. Somewhere in the back and forward the kid said, what kind of petting zoo mistreats kids? Eventually I jump back in again. The ones who deserve it. Mom turns her anger to me. I have a problem with your colleagues, the one who abused my kid and is secretly listening in and the one who hosed them. It is my problem if you threaten my colleagues. Fire them, the mom said. Excuse me. I was surprised by this response. You heard me, fire them, they both abused my kids. Ma'am, please leave, we aren't getting anywhere here and your attitude towards my colleagues and me is not welcome here. Actions have consequences, do they not? Yes ma'am, and so do yours, so this is your last chance before we call the police. This is the moment she realizes she is not getting anywhere with us. While walking away she screamed, I know you're open till 7:30 and my husband will come. None of us corrected her because we are open till 5 and this happened at 4:30. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.